Trump's entire meltdown over Jimmy Kimmel proves just how fragile he really is. He spent days trying to pressure ABC and the FCC into canceling a comedian, and instead he handed Kimmel the biggest audience of his career. 7 million views overnight, and it's still raising. That's not just a backfire. That's humiliation on a global stage. Authoritarians always try to silence comedy because jokes reveal the truth they can't handle. Tonight, Kimmel showed the world exactly why Trump is terrified of laughter.
I do tonight. Oh, snap! You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. I never imagined I would be in a situation like this. I barely paid attention in school. But one thing I did learn from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American. And I am so glad we have some solidarity on that from the right and the left and from those in the middle like Joe Rogan. Maybe the silver lining from this is we found one thing we can agree on, and maybe we'll even find another one. Maybe we can get a little bit closer together. We do agree on a lot of things. We agree on keeping our children safe from guns, on reproductive rights for women, Social Security, affordable health care, pediatric cancer research. These are all things that most Americans support. Let's stop letting these politicians tell us what they want and tell them what we want.
Kimmel's opening monologue was heartfelt, honest, and funny. He opened by thanking fans for their support.
I heard from late-night hosts in other countries, from Ireland and from Germany. The guy in Germany offered me a job. Can you imagine? This country has become so authoritarian, the Germans are like, come here, cut loose. First of all, I want to thank the people who don't support my show and what I believe, but support my right to share those beliefs anyway. People who I never would have imagined, like Ben Shapiro, Clay Travis, Candace Owens, Mitch McConnell, Rand Paul, even my old pal Ted Cruz, who, believe it or not, said something very beautiful on my behalf.
What made this monologue so powerful is that Jimmy Kimmel didn't just go for laughs. He spoke directly about why free speech matters. Trump tried to use the government to shut down a TV host who made fun of him. And the best part? By trying to silence Kimmel, Trump guaranteed that millions more people would hear every single punchline. He literally created his own humiliation reel. In this clip, he is talking about Charlie Kirk's murder.
I've been hearing a lot about what I need to say and do tonight, and the truth is, I don't think what I have to say is going to make much of a difference. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I have no illusions about changing anyone's mind. But I do want to make something clear because it's important to me as a human, and that is, you understand that it was never my intention to make light of the murder of a young man. I don't think there's anything funny about it. I posted a message on Instagram on the day he was killed, sending love to his family and asking for compassion, and I meant it, and I still do. Nor was it my intention to blame any specific group for the actions of what it was obviously a deeply disturbed individual. That was really the opposite of the point I was trying to make, but I understand that to some that felt either ill-timed or unclear, or maybe both. And for those who think I did point a finger, I get why you're upset. If the situation was reversed, there's a good chance I'd have felt the same way. I have many friends and family members on the other side who I love and remain close to, even though we don't agree on politics at all. I don't think the murderer who shot Charlie Kirk represents anyone. This was a sick person who believed violence was a solution, and it isn't. Ever.
Trump once again proved he's the most thin-skinned politician in American history. The man can't handle Alec Baldwin, can't handle SNL, can't handle late-night hosts, and now he's crying about Jimmy Kimmel. Meanwhile, Kimmel came back stronger, funnier, and more defiant than ever. This wasn't just comedy, it was a stand for free speech. Trump tried to cancel him and instead turned him into the headline of the night. The joke's on Trump, and the whole country is laughing.
Fortunately, and I think unjustly, this puts them at risk. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this because he's not stopping. And it's not just comedy. He's gunning for our journalists, too. He's suing them. He's bullying them. Over the weekend, his foxy friend Pete Hegseth announced a new policy that requires journalists with Pentagon press credentials to sign a pledge promising not to report information that hasn't been explicitly authorized for release. That includes unclassified information. They want to pick and choose what the news is. I know that's not as interesting as muzzling a comedian, but it's so important to have a free press, and it is nuts that we aren't paying more attention to it.
Kimmel dismantled Trump's whining point by point, mocked his hypocrisy, and reminded everyone that a president trying to censor comedians is un-American to the core. And the numbers speak for themselves. Trump turned a low-rated host into the most watched late-night clip in months. That's not just irony, that's karma. Jimmy didn't just humiliate Trump. Trump humiliated himself.